Okay, so how many people want to wiggle right now? I want to wiggle. Let's wiggle. Let's stand and wiggle.
I can't wiggle and wiggle.
Wiggle out, stretch it out. Oh, roll those shoulders back. I don't know about you, but standing up straight, you know. And as soon as you do that, go ahead and take a seat, because we're going to do a little closing activity at the end here. But I need to take a minute to do a couple things. I never, for those of you who ever seen me speak, I know there's a few faces I recognize here who hear me speak. I never use podiums and papers, and I'm all about walking around the room. And today has been a little different. I'm going to be very vulnerable and authentic with you. I don't think I've ever felt nervous until today. And here's why. Please tell me you relate. There's so much going on today in the world that first, I think I forget how to talk to grown-ups, right? Because I've been talking to my 6-year-old for 4 months. And I come out and I'm like, oh my God, there are grown-ups. And then I'm like, wait, not grown-ups, I mean adults. I mean, no, wait, I have to go potty. No, I mean, I have to go to the bathroom. And how many of you feel like out of sorts a little bit with all this happening, right? I mean, come on. And so I thought, wait, I don't have a problem talking to people. I love people. I love connecting with people. So why am I so nervous? And here's why. My entire world is about connecting and collecting humans. I love them all. I have rainbows of people in my life, even animals, right? Yet, I'm not sure how to show up sometimes. I'm not sure what to say sometimes. I'm not sure if I say something to someone if I'm offending them. Or if I share my story, or if I'm vulnerable, if I'm making them feel like I'm one-upping them. Gosh, that's not what I want to do, but I just want to be me. And so if any of you feel that way, I just wanted to put out there that what is also awesome about this time is that I think you're not alone, right? Whoever felt that way this last 3 to 4 months, right? All these, I don't know how your house is. My house, my husband's on the news, and I won't even say the channel because that makes us political, right? I mean, it's just every area is sensitive. And every place I go, I'm like, oh, I can't say that. Or should I say that? Really, I just want to call every single human that I connect with my beautiful humans. Because I'm tired of saying my friends of color, or my Caucasian friends, or this, or that, label, right? You there? And so today when I got up to come here, I'm my 6-year-old, right? Yesterday I got to be with my 80-year-old mom in Ohio, and we wore masks, and just talking about her makes me want to cry because I miss her. I want to hug her so bad, and my dad, and they both turn 80. And they both have all these ailments, so we have to stay 6 feet distance. But we set up their entire yard with a thing called Yard My Card. Who would have known? And it took up their entire yard. We set up this table and this umbrella, and they're sitting there, and I made all these t-shirts for them, for all the nieces and nephews, we're all global. And I said, Mommy, we're going to celebrate you. And we coordinated every 10 minutes. They have 85 people that want to celebrate her. We coordinated every 10 minutes to drive up the driveway. Hi, we love you. And she was like, people can't come if I don't make food. I'm like, Mom, you have lung failure and heart failure and knees. Or she goes, why do you say all that? I can do whatever I want. I said, fine. So she makes all these fresh Indian snacks from scratch. And Indian chai, if you never had it, reach out to me after this. I will tell you how to make it. It's not like Starbucks, sorry. And she has cups out for everyone. We make sure, I mean, I'm not sure what about the leadership so much, but Amazon Prime, I love you right now, right? We had everything shipped to her. And now every car that's coming up, I promise you there's a purpose in the store. She's giving them these little, she's 4'11". And she gives them this little goodie bag. She said, here's your chai. Thank you for celebrating me. And I think about it, and my dad too. My dad and Miss Sonia just got to meet him. Althea's met my parents. I mean, literally, I'm the second tallest in my family, and I'm only 5'2". So how many people here have Indian friends? Okay, besides me. Okay, so I'm not trying to offend anyone. See, I got to be mindful of what I say, right? And so we just come short. That's just how we come. Shaky and all the other things that we come. And so I'm watching this from a distance with the lump in my throat, and I have a 6-year-old. I just turned 50 this past month. And I was privileged to have a 6-year-old, to have a baby in my mid-40s, and then have a lot happen, right? All the stuff happened, and life happened. And my 6-year-old walks around. Those of you who know my 6-year-old know that she's sassy as can be.
Oh, yeah.
She's like, Mommy, are you gonna be on stage today? Can I come? No. Because it's not about you. But I'm gonna sing to Bob. Bob means grandma. Okay, so she sings about, hi, Mom, blah, blah, blah. She's like making it really goofy and silly, and I said, you just made it about you. She goes, I don't understand. I said, I know. We have to remind ourselves that we have to make it about others. When we celebrate, when we show up, what matters to others? And so she did say to me, emotional intelligence is my thing, it is. But it wasn't, I didn't even know what that meant. Honestly, I was like, emotional what? And for some reason, the theme this morning is Lily. I hear a lot of Lily happening. And, my family and I, we immigrated back, we immigrated to the United States in 1970. I just aged myself, of course. And I was the youngest, and we had $7 and 4 kids and my parents. And we lived on the streets of Brooklyn. Actually lived at the airport for a few days until we could figure stuff out. And we didn't know anybody here. And back then, you had $7 and you had these 2 parents who were like, my dad was a chemistry professor in India. He came here and they're like, sorry, you can't practice here. You gotta go back to school. He's like, I got 4 kids. And I was like, they were like, they didn't know what to do. So they each took 4 or 5 jobs apiece. I was that, what is that, latchkey kid? Right? That was me. My sister was 5. My mom cooked a pot of food and put it on the stove and chained it to the stove. And I was 1, and the kids in between. And we fed ourselves. We did what we had to do. And we grew up around, and this is true, I promise you, I didn't know this until I was an adult. We grew up around the Puerto Rican and the Italian mafia. That's what we grew up around. And everybody was the same to me. There was no differences. And I took that upbringing, that mindset, those values that my parents brought. You do what you have to do. Mom, you're pure vegetarian. So I gotta flip burgers at Burger King. That's what I gotta do. I have to work as a seamstress. I have to do this. She got up at 4 a.m. and left, and I didn't see it. She didn't get home until midnight. That was for 19 years. We did what we had to do. And so I share that story, not for the oohs and the ahs, but because I didn't know that all of that was learning, right? I didn't have a child. I don't even know how to swim or ride a bike because I've been working. And so I hear it out here. I know that everyone in this room is like, I got the work ethic, right? We're crazy great at everything we do. Bring it on, I'll do it. I see that in my little feisty 4'11" mom. But here's the thing, what does that mean? What is that purpose for? So as you go through your stories, I ask you, is your story identifying and defining you? Or are you taking that story and saying, let me see what I can choose in this story and make mine? And fill in gaps. As time went on in my story, we did move to the Midwest. I was 11 and a half, and my mom said, Sonia, you and your brothers and sisters, we're gonna just take a drive up to a place called Dayton, Ohio. And I was like, what? I don't even know what that is. Oh, Lord, buddy, we just go for somebody who play against a pool. Park, and they always had glass on the bottom. Okay. So we get there, and I wake up, and there's this driveway. I'm like, is this a gas station? They're like, no, this is your new home. And I said, what? This is a motel. Yeah. It has 24 units, my daughter. And it had a little room attached to the motel office. But here's the thing, Sonia. That's what she calls me. Not you, Sonia. The school bus, can you believe it, comes to the front to pick you up? Yay! And I was like, huh? I take the subway and the bus. I'm okay with that. I'm not. Because as a mom, I don't know of your safety. So in her heart and mind, as her and my dad strategized, not knowing what they were doing, they just did as they went along, is they bought this motel across the street from a cornfield. The only thing I knew about cornfields were scary movies. A mile away from Miami University, Oxford, Ohio, because we moved to Oxford. Anyone ever heard of Oxford? Right? And she said, you're 11 and a half, my sister is 16. I need all 4 of you guys to go to an excellent college so that everybody in India doesn't say, I told you so. So we were open 24/7, and for the next 18 years, I was the desk clerk, the maid, the plumber, you name it, we did it. And we ran that business. And I went to Miami, and I commuted, and my siblings commuted, and I did what I was told, be doctor, engineer, or lawyer. Only that, nothing else. That is what America's about. I don't want to. So I was pre-med zoology at Miami, and organic chemistry at Miami. That's when I realized, I don't want to do this. You know, mind you, my brother's 4 years older. He's already in med school, so he followed the rules. We don't break rules in my family. I mean, I didn't have anyone as a role model to know how to break a rule at that time. And then my other sister, who was 2 years older, was pre-med zoology, and she graduated and said, I think I want to be an artist. So she randomly didn't tell my family. She applied for FIT in Manhattan, Fashion Institute of Technology. She got in. My parents were like, I have no idea what to do with this. How am I going to tell the community? We can't tell the community that. There's no way we can tell the community that. And my siblings and I Indian dance professionally most of our lives. That's what you do. Boy or girl, you just Indian dance. That's what you do. Bollywood dancing is real. And then it was my turn. And I was like, I don't want to go to that. So now it's okay. If you don't go, we'll just arrange your marriage. So, the best way out for Indian, I'm only speaking for me, it might be the best way out for everyone, I don't know. But for Indians, is academics. So I had this school in Columbus, Ohio, where the Ohio State was, and they said, teach high school biology for us. I said, okay, I'm 21, why not? And then Ohio State said, we want to give you a master's degree and we'll pay for it. I said, why not? So I told my parents, they're like, oh, that's great. You know, I went to Columbus, I spent the next 10 years teaching high school biology. And the great thing about that is I learned so much. The great thing about that was that the teachers for the first 3 years wouldn't let me sit with them because I was different. The great thing about that is all the students and I really connected, and I founded CARDS, which is Kids Against Racial Discrimination program, and no one ever showed up but the students and I for 7 years. And they kept saying, why don't you just quit? And I said, because I don't want to. Right? But then Gwen Stefani came around. You're like, what the heck does that have to do with the story? Do any of you remember when she wore a dot? And no doubt. I swear to God, the day before, I was wearing my Indian clothes and a dot for one of our celebratory days for Diwali, and everyone was like, yeah, you're so funny looking, and look at you. Where did you go? Go back to India. The next day, oh my God, you're so cool. Where did you get that dot? Were you born with that? I wear makeup every other day. Your anklet, is that from Macy's? No. I've had it on all year. You were making fun of me, remember? And life happened, and it kept happening. That was my first part of my career. I'm in the fourth reinvention of my career. Because with that, all the teachers came and said, hey, Sonal, the school district is being sued for racial discrimination. We need you on our team. And I said, thank you. And they said, why? And I said, because I don't break and burn bridges. I don't appreciate the way I was treated, but what I did, my doingness behind that was starting that program. My doingness behind that was showing the kids, not telling the kids, this is how you show up even when no one else shows up for you. You just be there. That doesn't mean I go home and cry. I cried every day. Also because I didn't have to, at the same time I'm being set up, if you can imagine, to have an arranged marriage. Right? So I had to go to all these Indian events and wear a number. Hi, my name is Sonal. And I was like trying to be a rebel. And I didn't do it. So at 30, I finally got married to an Indian guy, but not my part of India, so that was still being a rebel. He was South Indian. He was one of my dancers. I used to choreograph like Janet Jackson kind of stuff. He was one of my dancers. He was 6.5 years younger than me. Fun. And then he died. And then I got divorced. And now I'm really pissed off the Indian community. Like I'm talking about, I was in Ohio. No one would talk to me. Oh, you have a master's. What happened to a PhD? I don't want to get a PhD. Well, why not be this? To the point where when they were setting me up with men, on the phone, they'd be like, oh, this is true. Okay, you ready? What's your name? How tall you are? How much you weigh? What do you do? I'm like, I'm an astronaut. They're like, really? That is so great? And then one guy, I said, I'm a teacher. That's great. What else do you do? Oh. So then I started playing with it. And I made my parents mad. And I talk to people like that on the phone. Watch me. Because I am not going to be up for display. And I married this guy, and only came back to me like 2 years later. Long story short, I moved to Arizona. I became a professor at a college, blah, 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 all that fun stuff. It was hard. And then I found out after 9/11 that he's alcoholic bipolar. Yes! And I realized at that moment life was really hard. And he said, plain bankruptcy, he went to rehab, he went to India to an ashram. His family took him away and said, because you're the woman, you must take care of everything. Figure it out. And I just miscarried at Chipotle, and a week later, I had to figure out how to get all of that taken and pulled together and move myself back to the Midwest. Shoot, I did it. And I didn't tell him that I took out $2 extra grand because I sold everything. I put that in my back pocket. I had no idea. He came back to the States. He was like, sweet, I love you. Let's do this again. Let's go to Indiana. And I'm like, oh, hell, what's in Indiana? In Indiana, his brother was a cardiologist here. I said, fine, we'll live there. He was the first person to get a job. Then that's where we'll stay, wherever we get it. Well, I have all these degrees. I even went to pharmacy classes for this little fool. And he got a job at Lilly. I have been applying for 10 years. My mom goes, he got a job at Lilly. Why you not get a job at Lilly? I hear in all of the country, Lilly. And so when I say I have, and I've been speaking and training at Lilly. So when I say I'm speaking with someone at Lilly, you got a job at Lilly? Mom, I'm an entrepreneur. I don't work for anyone. I work for me. Oh, so you don't have a job. What is it with Lilly? So then I said, I'm going to make that work for me. They don't want to hire me because I don't have a specific degree. That was where I got stuck. Well, you have all the qualifications and you have the life experiences, but we really want someone that's a biologist. Sorry, I'm nothing. Right? But I kept getting told no, no, no. So I finally, from there, decided I'm going to go out, and this was 2008, and I had no money. And I lost my job as director of education the day I bought my condo, an hour later. And my family said, how are you going to pay your mortgage? And I said, that's my problem. And I immediately started going out to charter schools. I was like, hi, my name is Sol. How do your teachers get trained? So one CFO at a charter school said, if you could do anything, what would it be? I'm like, dang it, that's a hard question. And I never actually took time to sit and think about that because I was so busy being busy, paying bills. Oh, by the way, through all of this, I traveled 24 countries because I sold my couch and I said, that's a ticket to this country. Let me go. And then at that time, I said, I don't know. I would love to train biology teachers. She's like, on what? I said, when I taught high school, we didn't use textbooks for 10 years. I was 21 years old. They asked me to teach earth science. I didn't even know what a rock was. And I pulled 3 all-nighters to pull a curriculum together. They gave us a sheet of paper and said, for the whole school year, this is what you're going to teach, figure it out on your own. It was 3 days before school started, and my team, my staff, science staff said, we're not going to help you. They hired you and not our friends, so we don't like you. So I didn't get any help, and I created all my own curriculum, my assessment tools, everything from scratch. And I knew at that moment, I apologize. I didn't know at that moment. I didn't know until I looked back and I said, how many of these teachers in the classroom know how to build lessons to accommodate all the learning styles in that room? Because here's how we teach. And here's the people falling off to the sides. And then we're saying they're not worthy, or they can't do, or they're not enough. And what the problem is we're not creating for all of them to come in together. And so they were like, okay, do it. And I said, do what? She goes, just that. I said, really? She goes, yeah, come back tomorrow with a proposal. I said, absolutely. I went home and I'm like, the hell was a proposal? And I called my brother, who he's a dermatologist, but he's also an international speaker. And I said, what is this? I don't know what this means. She goes, this is what this means. And I kept asking, and I built my village. Because in 2003, when I came here and I looked around, I said, I am so flipping lonely. I don't know anyone here. Obviously, I don't have a hard time making friends. But everybody here was very cliquey. That was my experience. That was my story. That was my conversation. And I tried to hold on to that story. Until one day I decided, if I can get this to be the place I will never leave, since everyone in my family, they're all international, are like, Indianapolis, Indiana? I'm like, yeah. You mean where, when we lived at the motel, KKK marched into our motel and threatened to, they beat up my brother, and so we went through all of that. I said, yeah, that Indiana. And so I was like, I'm gonna make this work. And as the years went on, and I went into consulting and did whatever I needed to do, gigs, right? I even auditioned to do, the Children's Museum Egyptian exhibit. I was Egyptian for 3 years. What the heck, why not? I did it. I had kids walking around the city going, familiar. I'm like, I'm Egyptian. So, do what it takes. And so I did that. And through that, the best thing happened for me in my life. I walked into a school and they said, you need to teach for us. We heard you have to be a teacher. I'm like, I don't want to grade papers ever again. And this man, he must have seen me from a distance. And he must have not been that cute because I didn't see him. And he asked someone if they could set me up with him. And I felt really insecure because I'm like, no, I don't have my SHIT together. Okay. And so he asked someone to ask me out. We met out on one day and I said, okay, here's the thing. What's your story? I was 39 years old. Who talks like that? I do. Then he asked me mine. And then he's like, why are you not pissed at the world? And I said, how will that serve me? Right. He goes, you're fascinating. And I went home and I said to the roommate at the time, okay, I haven't dated in a long time. Is fascinating code for weird? In less than a year, he became my husband. He works at Warren Township at the Met. That's where I met him, the Met. At the Renaissance. He runs that school. His passion is all about helping students who fall between the cracks and they need opportunity. Man, I found my passion, man. And in 3 years, we tried to have babies. I got 6 surgeries later, I have a baby, right? Life happened. And now, all the jobs I've had in between, the great careers I've had in between, I've had female bosses 10 years younger than me, beautiful women, and I would tell them, you're so gorgeous. I would love to learn from you. Oh, let's do this together. And I'm not gonna make this a blanket thing, but I made it a blanket thing in my head and in my heart, where all of them said, no. We're not promoting you, you're gonna sit right there, and we're not gonna make you special because we wanna be better than you. And they didn't say those words, but they showed up that way. And everyone around me that was younger, that had the same job title I did, was making 5 to 10K more than me, and was getting promoted, and I made my number every year and I never got touched. So I knew at that point it was time to go. That was 7 years, and I needed that, because then here's where it comes up. We buy a house. Yes! And a week later, what happens? I get the call. I'm sorry, you lost your job. And I'm, seriously, again? Right when I got a house? And my husband comes home and he goes, oh my God. He's potty. Oh God, what are you gonna do? He's dramatic. Every time I told you that. And I said, look, you didn't know me in my first life. You need to take my daughter, our daughter, go to the park. I need an hour to grieve, and I gotta get my hustle on.
That's my girl.
He goes, what does that mean? I said, and by 4 p.m. that day on Facebook Marketplace, love that place. I sold $500 worth of stuff. And by that next week, my friend comes over, she's like, why? I go, my dream is to do a TED Talk. Well, why don't you? Why don't I do what? A TED Talk. I was just kidding. No, you weren't. And she's now my thinking partner. This month is my 3rd anniversary. I'm a businesswoman. I do emotional intelligence. Lily was in my first audience ever when I did the first 2 years pro bono. You do what it takes, right? In COVID, I lost all 17 gigs. That's fine. All my colleagues are people in my life that do what I do as a speaker and a trainer, like, what are we gonna do? And I said, here's what I'm gonna do. I wrote a book. I created culture cards, because every organization in this world gets to celebrate their people. And so I designed card decks to help them do that. So What I'm saying to you, for me, my greatest passion is connection. My greatest passion are people. And if you want to connect with people, you have to open up. I've had so many failures, but failures, I love them. I tell my 6-year-old, I need you to fail so you can launch to a new beginning. Because that's the best part. But you have to show up with that certain tone or attitude. So I'm going to close with 2 things. I have my brand, for those of you who raise your hand if you know me in here, if you've had my stretch band. Okay, I have a few of you in here. I have a band, and the one day I don't wear it because I haven't been outside in a long time, is Have You Stretched Today? And that is all about how do you stretch out of your comfort zone when you're uncomfortable. The S for stretch stands for self-awareness. What is that self-awareness? Who are you? What matters to you? How do you identify yourself? The T stands for tone. What attitude will you choose when you approach that stretch? Whatever that stretch is. My stretch is to be able to juggle time on being a mom, an entrepreneur, and a wife, and a daughter. What's my tone and attitude? How do you get that to show up? So you're going to say, you know what? I can't do this. Or this is hard. Yeah, it's hard and I can't do this, but I'm going to keep going. The R is for reflect on what's needed. What do you need while you're stretching? Whatever you choose to do in your life, ladies, personally or professionally, there's something you've been wanting to do, apply this tool. E, engage in new ideas. What are those new ideas? Am I open to listening to others? And here's where I challenge people in organizations. Go out and ask people in different silos in that different space to tap into each other and ask each other, what are you doing and what's the purpose? And then see how it all connects. Because we all connect to each other. T, my second T, my favorite one, is take action. I don't know about you, but my daughters are walking around the house going, I know, Mommy. I'm like, do not say that, please. Because we have the I know kings and queens out there. What are you doing about what you know? What's your doingness? And then, C, change management. Collect your data. What's working? What's not working? Should I do this again? Should I recraft? Should I redesign? And the H is harness the power. Now celebrate. You just tried something new. Even if it didn't work out, celebrate it. And collect the data on what worked and what didn't work so you can recraft and recreate. Okay? So stretch. And the activity I'm going to do with you is I'm going to ask you to stand. So connection, some of you have been in my audiences before. Connection is huge for me. And I am sit down right now. When I say this phrase, and it applies to you, you stand. But here's the real part about it. Are you ready? Some of you are like, are you ready?
Yes.
If you say connection, and here's how you do it. You look at everyone else who's standing, and you go, connection!
Jeez.
I didn't even have I just had a sip of that. I took a sip. I want to taste it. And then you look at everyone in this room, because here's how we end this, ladies, to start a new beginning. Is we spend so much time one-upping, comparing our beginning to someone else's middle, feeling like I'm not enough, saying, why me, doesn't matter, why, I mean, she's already doing it, so why should I? My husband tells me that, right? Why would you be a speaker? There's so many. I'm like, huh? Because there's someone for everyone. Attitude of abundance. So you look around the room, and this activity, before you leave this room today, will remind you of not what you guys don't have in common, but what brings you together. And that is the power of connection. So please stand if, excuse the 50-year-old eyes. Stand if you feel that for being a woman, you may have been overlooked, talked down to, or patronized in life or work. you have feelings of fear or confusion about things that are going on in the world today that are too much to list. Connection! Connection! You gotta put your arms out or I'm gonna stand up there. Connection! You may be seated. Stand if you are searching for a community of support. Connection. Look around the room. And I want to say this to you. You may be seated. Thank you. My friend, an awesome human in my life, called me this morning. She said, I want you to say this to everyone in the audience. I said, I don't want to. I struggle with it. I don't think I'm going to struggle talking about myself. I do a lot. So I make it about everything. All right, she said she wants me to say the following. And I don't read all the stuff, but I'm going to read this because it's not in my comfort zone. I am inclusive. That's what my friends tell me. I have a tribe of women that looks different, all different ages, races, and stages in life. We are all part of the same planning committee. There's a quote out there. Diversity is going to a party, and inclusion is being a member of the planning committee. Diversity is going to a party, and inclusion is being a member of the planning committee. So, we may have different political and home cultures, but we share the same values in life. It is my innate need, my instinct to make sure that all women in my life know each other and are brought together so they can share their lives and stories. We celebrate holidays, all of them. Those of you who've never celebrated Diwali, come on over, right? Christmas, I got a tree. Santa Claus, got that too. It doesn't matter, right? Because we're celebrating each other. Holidays, birthdays, and even the difficult times together with my whole family, my parents, my husband, my daughter. Anyone here who knows me knows that I probably reach out to 30 to 100 people minimum a month and collect them. I am a true people collector. And why? Because you need something, I'm connecting you to someone else. Now I just gotta figure out how to monetize it. Okay? Remember, ladies, who's on your planning committee? What do you do and how do you bring people together? When you put that next thing together in your life, not just the event matters, but behind the scenes too. You can reach me. I am totally I'm getting better at social media. What I'd love to do is if everyone has their phones with them, if you don't know this feature, it's awesome. Go to your LinkedIn. Who's on LinkedIn here? Who knows about the feature here? Yeah, I hear it. Where you can find nearby. So what you do is you go to your LinkedIn app. If you don't know this already, and a lot of you know this, you go to the people, My Network button on the bottom. And then a little blue button will come up with a plus sign. Press that and put Find Nearby. Press it so it's on. Okay? And then people in this room will show up